So we're here at the Foxx Theater. You're home. We're in Oakland.
Yeah.
Growing up here, like, how did this place shape you?
I say the same thing every time I get this question, is just that Oakland just has this heart. The Bay Area has so much heart in general, whether it be how we have to come together, how we have came together for political things, whether it be protests or just showing up and standing in solidarity with other cities or for each other, whether it be music. We've led movements, entire movements in music, whether it be just culture in general. I feel like there's just this pulse that kind of goes through the Bay, and especially Oakland, that's just really undeniable. And when I meet people from other places and they're just like, yo, it's something about these Oakland people. Every time I meet y'all and I see you guys out, it's like this, like, just love and joy and like strength, and I hope that everybody here doesn't take any of that for granted.
For sure. You know, you came from a girl group, you competed on America's Got Talent as a teen, but at what point did you figure out the type of artist you wanted to be?
I don't know. I feel like I've had the consistent morality throughout my entire career of just like, I want to be a superhero. And that was what I said when I was a kid, and everybody asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I always said, you know, I want to be a superhero. And I think that even when I was in the band, even when I was on America's Got Talent, when I was moving things like that, we made it our point for our message to just be inspired, just to show other kids. We were 16 years old, 16, 15, 14. I was in that band from 13 to 16 years old. It was just, let's show other kids in middle school and high school right now that they can do this, that they can come and get on a TV show and just rock out and play music that all the old heads are like, why do y'all know these songs even? Like, so, and I think that's still consistent to now. It's just, I just want to inspire in any way that I can, so.
Nick Cannon saw talent in you from really early on. What do you think he saw in that young Kehlani that made him, you know, just truly believe and support your career from a very, like, preliminary stage?
I just think he knew that the effort and time that he put into me wasn't going to go to waste. I think he knew that I wasn't going to take it for granted, and I didn't. You know, he gave me a space to rest my head. He gave me a place to record music, and didn't let up on me. He wasn't like, I'm going to just hand things to you. It wasn't like that. You know what I mean? He was like, I could offer this to you, but you're going to have to really work. And I really worked. And I think that's just what he saw that. I think people go through that phase often when coming from a mentor type of place. Like they're going out on a limb, they're taking a risk by putting so much time, effort, and whatever into someone, and it can be really damaging when that person doesn't actually make something out of it, or at least really try. Mm-hmm. And I just made that a point. I told him, like, if you do this and we decide to do this together, like, just know I'm never gonna take this for granted. So hopefully that's what he saw.
Beyond Nick, is there anybody in the industry who you consider a mentor?
Yeah, I've got a bunch, man, honestly. Dang, where do I start? Jessie J has recently become someone that I get a lot of advice from. Beautiful soul, like, beautiful, like, human, like, as like, alien talented as she is. Like, that is a gift. Like, she's out of this world, and when she's able to just commute, like when she just sits down and she just talks, it's like I'm talking to like my big sister. You know what I mean? So that's someone lately that I feel like I've really connected with. Like she invited us over, like she made dinner for me. She was like, sit on the couch and like snuggle in this fuzzy blanket, girl. Like, if you want to watch something, I'm like, oh my God, you're like the cool auntie that I didn't have. So yeah.
I love that. That's so dope. When you're in the limelight constantly, like, you've always been open about sharing your life with people, but I mean, you know, how do you keep sane mentally?
I just have reminders. I tell myself that nothing's ever that serious. I also I remind myself often about first world problems. That really keeps me sane. I just remember when I had real problems. Like, I remember when my problems were like, who in the family is sick, or what are we gonna eat, or like, we're sharing a bed, you know what I mean, or how am I gonna get to school today, things like that. I'm lucky now that my problems now could have to do with the internet or people not liking the music that I put out or things like that. I'm blessed that they aren't that they aren't as bad as they could be, and that really keeps me sane. And I know that sometimes that can be dismissive to any sort of pain, but it's just what keeps me going. So
I feel like that's the theme for the song Already Won. What triggered
for sure
that?
I think just the fact that, and this is no disrespect, I'm extremely grateful to every like nod that I've ever received, everything that I've ever been nominated for. I think I watch people lose all hope and belief in themselves when they don't get acknowledgement from an establishment or acknowledgement from something that people tell them is like, this puts the worth on your art. And when I sat there and said, art is subjective. it's whoever feels it, and whoever doesn't. Who is a group of people that are established to tell me that my art is great? Who are they to tell me that my art is great or not, when there's a little girl out there who thinks my art is the best thing that she ever heard, and then there's someone out there who thinks they never want to listen to my music ever? To each his own. So I just the nomination had came out, and I was just super inspired by the fact that a lot of my friends are on that same thought process right now. A lot of my friends in the industry were all just like, this is a beautiful thing to be nominated, but I know what I'm here to do, and I'm doing that, and like nobody can tell me the worth on that. So,
what do you credit that relentless work ethic to?
I think I went up and then went down. You know what I mean? I was in a kid band. We were doing shows for 3 years, going to class in middle school, and then leaving early to go get in a van to go to LA to do a show, to run off stage because we couldn't be at the venue past curfew, to drive back, to come back to class with our show clothes on from last night, like to go on a TV show, to being season finalists and gaining all these fans, and then after the show is over, people don't care. And coming back and working 2 regular jobs, going to high school, couch hopping. You know what I mean? I knew that the only thing that was going to work was me giving it 100%. And that's the only reason it did work for me, is because I gave it 100%. I didn't kick it. I wasn't out, like playing around. It was like if there was somewhere for me to work, I was going to work. If there was something for me to do, I was going to try it. And yeah, I think that's just what it came from. I think I'm also just the first person in my family to really do something, like not do something because everybody does something, but just do something this big, or do something important, or do something that could potentially save my whole family. Mm-hmm. So I keep that in mind all the time. It's just like, not only do you have that responsibility to your family, but you got to show all the young kids in the family that they can carry this on and continue to do this. So, is there ever any pressure to just always be on all the time? I think there's not really a pressure. I just know that there is an expectation from people to keep going. But I think I'm really good at communicating when it comes to what I need, and when I need rest, and when I need to just be a 22-year-old girl. And I think that people around me really respect that, and I appreciate that they let me do that when I need to. So I don't think there's necessarily a pressure, but I know that the expectation exists for sure. You've been vegan for about 6-7 months. I stopped saying vegan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why are you stopping saying vegan?
I stopped saying vegan because I feel like the term vegan has become really like non-inclusive, and kind of like it just kind of waves off indigenous culture and like brown and black culture. It's really, part of me, shitty when it comes to like how the treatment of black and brown farmers all over the world whose business are being hurt and families are being hurt because veganism is becoming so popular that it's just like it's just creating so much mess. And it's like, this would be such a long conversation because I get so passionate about it, but I'm opting for plant-based. That is what I am. I've been plant-based for like 7 months, mostly just because it's for health reasons for me, and for spiritual reasons of when you intake something that died in a painful way, regardless of if you acknowledge it or not, that energy is going inside. And I feel so much lighter, not only physically, but spiritually lighter. I don't feel like I'm carrying energy that I can't put my finger on. Like, I felt like I was carrying things, and I'm like, why am I upset right now? Or why do I feel so heavy? And then I stop eating meat, and I'm like, whoa, like, this is just my energy that I feel right now. So, yeah. How did you get into spirituality? I've been spiritual my whole life. I think it was the switch of when I started not being afraid to ask questions. And I would go to Christian church with my grandma and have so many questions that I felt like nobody would answer for me. Not saying that isn't legit and Christianity isn't real, and I believe in all archetypes at this point. Because once you understand spirit, I feel like you can understand that all archetypes are just of the same energy, but they're just divided into different, what works for different people to receive it from. So once I started asking questions and they weren't getting answered, I kind of just dived into my own route and knew that when I spoke about spirit, it made me feel so strong that it had to be real. Like, even when you go to church and you talk about God, you talk about Jesus, like, the emotion that you feel, that isn't normal. You know what I'm saying? That's because there is a God. That's because there is spirit. And yeah, once I just sat with that and like fully acknowledged it, I started to just wanting to know more, with whether it came to vocabulary or practice or rituals or things like that. I just wanted to like really get in because it made me feel good, which essentially is it for. Like, spiritual health is, mental wellness. So, do you meditate a lot? Yeah, I do. Meditating, I have really bad social anxiety. And it stopped me from like going places like most of this year and last year. Like I really couldn't bring myself to go to an event, go to an award show, be in front of too many cameras, being in a room with too many people. And once I started meditating, it allowed me to compartmentalize my thoughts. It allowed me to once slow down and actually like think about what is actually happening, and everything stopped being so crazy for a second, because really it's just your thoughts chasing each other and you can't even keep up with that. So yeah, it definitely eased my anxiety and just kind of allowed me to start my day off correctly, really.
Switching gears a little bit, you actually have a side hustle, and you got a huge investment.
Yeah.
You got a huge investment in your tech startup, Flora.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what Flora means and what you aim to do with this company.
Well, we just had an idea when talking about the disconnect between young people and health. And we realized, like, it's up. Okay, someone said this to me the other day, that they consider artists to be the archetypes of this realm, or the archetypes of this generation. And when I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, like I tattooed this on my hand when I was 19 years old, and now I hate it. And so many people have it tatted, and I'm like, dang, like all I just did was tat it, and you guys went and did that. It's trippy. So it's up to us as artists to make things cool. It's up to us to make people know. Like, people do crazy stuff in the public eye, and then people just go do it because they love the person that they're seeing do it. Imagine if we were all doing positive things. Imagine if we were all making it cool to be healthy and aware, and to meditate and to support your community and to do things like that. So we were like, you know what, with my face combined with an actually great app that could actually bridge the gap between health and young people, what could we do? And we just thought of Flora, and Flora is basically just it's a platform where you can have access to all the information you need to live a holistic and environmentally friendly lifestyle. So it isn't a vegan app. It's whatever your food choice is, but also holistic and environmentally friendly. So, yeah.
How did health become such a big priority to you?
Man, I get so tired of seeing people sick. It's really sad. Like, to know that people are so capable, and people have dreams, and people have goals, and then something happens, they go into the doctor's office, and they come out and they're like, my life is cut short. Or now I have to spend so much time and money and just sadness in a hospital. You know what I mean? It's discouraging. I went to Berkeley High, and my small school was Green Academy, which is focused on like food awareness and all that stuff, and that inspired me a lot. But I think really just sickness, like, it just sucks, man. Like, it sucks. Like, that's why I thank God every day. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can be ungrateful for. There's nothing I can be upset about, truly, because I have my health. So yeah.
Like you said, health is wealth.
That's it. That's really it. We only get one body.
You look back on these last couple of years throughout your career, from like Cloud 19 through Sweet Sexy Savage. Was there anything that you would have improved on if you could?
Musically, or just career?
Career-wise.
Man, I'm such a believer in everything happens for a reason. And like, if I did anything different, I wouldn't be the person I am. Every mistake that I made, every bad thing that happened, every mishap, whatever, may have affected my career, but it made me a great person. It helped me through something. It got me through something. I'm convinced that if I didn't go through all the crazy things that I experienced in my career, that I would probably be on a negative path, being completely thinking that everything was just sweet and everything was just going great, and like big head or something. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't change a thing. And there has been some pretty rough, crazy things, and I still wouldn't change it, not for the world, just because it literally shaped me and like gave me perspective. I think I gained the most perspective I've ever gained in my life in the past 2 years, and it's a gift. So,
what would you title this chapter in your life?
I think I'm in a really mindful chapter in my life. I think just being really self-aware, being really aware of the world, and being really aware of what I can do if you drop all ego, drop all attachment, drop all kind of any negative thing that could cloud you, and just live and breathe and exhale and offer what you can and take what you can, and things like that. So yeah, I think I'm here, I'm mindful, I'm grateful. I don't know.
And then lastly, what would your advice be to the young Kehlani who just released Cloud 19, didn't get the Grammy nominations yet, didn't get the charting Billboard singles yet? Like, what would you tell her?
I would say a lot is coming, but you're handling it well in the future. I I would just say that just keep doing your thing and don't doubt yourself. I think I had a lot of self-doubt for a while because it's hard saying out loud what you deserve. It's hard even acknowledging what do I think I deserve? What do I think I can get? What do I think is capable I'm capable of, and things like that. And I think I would just tell her, stop worrying so much. You know what I mean? Just breathe. The people that are gonna love you are gonna love you, and they're gonna love you really hard. So be receptive to that and just be ready, because it's about to get real crazy, girl.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
I appreciate it.